Welcome to episode 3 of Cooldown Reduction. I am Carmen the Askernes, and I am with...
Chad, not the Askernes.
Sadly, we are missing our good compatriot, Jonathan D, or Johnny D, or just Jonathan. And it's just going to be the two of us today, so that should be fun.
It should be a lot more intimate today. A lot more sexually charged. Maybe, maybe not. We'll talk really low.
It is pretty late right now when we're recording this, so we're like in our jammies and stuff. Chad's like cuddling a teddy bear right now, and anyway, so what do we got on the agenda for today, Chad?
Well, seeing as today is March 27th, we know tomorrow is the season finale of a very popular show that that Carmen really enjoys, that I'm kind of indifferent to at this point in my life.
That's actually absolutely 100% not true, because tomorrow's Saturday.
Oh, tomorrow is Saturday. Well, we'll post it tomorrow. So by the time you hear that, or hear this, it will be tomorrow that the finale is.
Yeah, so we're time traveling right now, actually.
And that is the finale of AMC's The Walking Dead.
The Walking Dead.
Nice to have their intro music right now.
Yeah, we get sued out the wazoo.
Would we?
So I'm super excited for the finale, only because I'm glad that like crazy zombie survival Rick is back instead of farmer, peaceful pacifist. I miss my crazy cheating wife Rick.
Yeah, we definitely this season has been all about a completely different Rick. One that's kind of just given up on a future of, moral civilization? What would you say,
I mean, like, this Rick definitely gives zero expletives about, like, everybody except for his immediate team members.
Except for the group, yeah.
But I think it was kind of funny how, like, so Rick's all like, we gotta protect each other and all that, Carl, and, like, all this kind of crazy stuff, right? But then Glenn comes back and he's like, oh, Noah died. But Rick just doesn't really care. He's just like, oh, but I gotta go try to tap this ass real quick at this married woman.
See, I don't know. I think Rick does care. He's just, it's all deep down inside, and he's about to explode.
So that throwdown in the street was for Noah?
Yeah, that was kind of just a whole just explosion of everything Rick's been going through, finally.
I mean, I think that, so I have a theory. And if you haven't read the comic books, then you're probably not going to know what I'm talking about. So, in the comics, there's this character called Negan, and they have this whole storyline.
See, I call him Negan.
Negan? I don't know.
I don't know why it's Negan.
I just heard somebody say
Dragon
that.
Ball Z character.
He's actually a Saiyan, so that's why they call him that. But anyway, him and Rick have this throwdown, because he's all crazy pants, and disrupts their peaceful society. So I feel like they're doing that storyline without the character of Negan. And I feel like Rick is filling in that role, right? And so they might put him... Yeah, like they might put him and Daryl at odds with each other. Because they've been... Because so far they've been bros, right? And now they're kind of drifting Rick and Daryl apart. Because Daryl's got that new friend that gave him spaghetti and a motorcycle.
Okay.
Because that's the key to Daryl's heart.
Well, just like your theory that two bros are falling apart, I'm going to have to disagree with that theory. Because I've read the books, and I don't see why they would even want to try that. It doesn't make sense.
Because they want to mix it up. They don't want it to be like the comics. Because everybody's like, oh, the show's predictable because the comics are so far ahead.
Right, but the Rick we're getting now is a better image of the Rick in the comics now.
Well, because it's real. Because it's like a real portrayal of the comics.
Yeah, like, so Rick's kind of now Rick. Just, he has a hand still.
Oh, so you're saying like he's actually coming into his own. Okay.
Well, Rick's just crazy, and he's crazy in the books, and he's crazy in the books when they get to Alexandria. So, I mean, like, just already, he's pretty normal Rick, so.
So, okay, I have a question then. So, say, you said you don't really enjoy the show, which I know you don't, because you don't really care. But what would need to happen in the season finale for you to be satisfied?
I could just lean in still and say, you know, if Rick ever loses his hand, I might be more in, because I've been waiting on that for a while. But the show is really like the comic book. And whether people want to admit it or not, the show and the comic book, all it is a soap opera set in a zombie world. I mean, that's what it is. It's character driven, and it's mostly just about their struggles and interactions. I mean, it is a soap opera. Characters come out of nowhere. Characters disappear. Characters come back. I mean,
there's like all this love triangle drama going.
There's love triangle. There are more triangles and more love making in the books. I will say that.
I mean, like, I think that Rick and Michonne need to just hook up already. That would make me happy.
It would make me happy.
And then Carl could have another sibling, but this would be. And I hope it's a boy, and that would be the only black guy that survives the whole show.
Oh, their kid?
Yeah.
Their baby?
Because all the black guys so far have been super duper duper bitch made, and they all keep dying.
Carmen's black for the record, so he's not. Don't call him racist or anything.
Yeah, if you didn't know, I am black. And what's his face? Noah. Yeah, I kind of liked him.
Who's also black?
He's also black. He played Chris on Everybody Hates Chris. And I was sad when he died because I was like, oh man. Oh, spoilers, by the way. And I was like, oh man. I was kind of hoping that he would make it to the end because Tyrese died like a bitch, and fucking T-Dog got destroyed. Bob got wrecked, and I think there was another one, the prison guy. He got his shit wrecked too. So I'm like, Morgan's still alive, but
yep,
he's kind of.
Yeah, I guess, but he's gone. But I mean, back to Noah. We'll give his full credit, Tyler James Williams.
He's he's a pretty cool guy though. I heard him he rapped on.
He does rap.
Yeah, he does. He did a freestyle over Six God. It was pretty awesome.
I'm pretty sure, I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure he's from a Disney Channel movie, and I think he rapped in this Disney Channel movie.
No way.
I'm almost 100% sure, but I know he's done stuff.
I mean, he was in Dear White People, so that's kind of cool. I still haven't seen that. But
I mean, most people will know him from Everybody Hates Chris. But anyways, back, you don't feel like there's been a solid black male character.
Besides Morgan, but you never ever see Morgan.
And Morgan went crazy.
Yeah.
So
I mean, like,
even then.
If Morgan comes back and like if him and Rick don't fight each other, Morgan needs to teach Rick how to fight because he's always getting his ass whooped. Like every time he gets in a fight, like the governor.
Rick gets his ass kicked a lot.
The governor had one eye, and Rick got the jump on him and still got his ass whooped. So I'm like, bro, you need to get your shit together.
Oh, he's not a very big guy, but I mean, you think they would make Rick Negan, or who'd you call him, Noggin?
Noggin, yeah.
Yeah.
He's just Noggin now.
It could be him.
He's Nappa.
Spoilers. I mean, Negan. He does something that's very memorable in the comics. I'm sure it's been spoiled by now. If you follow the show, I'm sure everybody's aware of what he does to a particular character.
Oh, the one character.
Character. We won't name right now, but I mean, next episode it's free game. We warned you now.
Yeah, well, okay, so if that is the case, then I guess that my theory wouldn't make sense because I couldn't see Rick doing that. That wouldn't make any sense.
But even with your theory, that would have to mean that like Rick and all the survivors, and then everybody in Alexandria, he would turn into the factory that Negan controls.
Yeah, okay.
If you wanted him to be more like Negan.
I guess it's pretty far-fetched. Well, okay, for me, they need to at least like have Rick and Daryl face off. Because I feel like they've been the two characters that are like, everybody thinks are immortal. And this whole season, they'd be like, nobody's safe. So I feel like one of them is going to die. I don't think they'll kill off Rick.
They can't kill off Rick.
Because he's like...
The show would end.
Yeah, it would be over. Nobody wants to watch a show about Carl.
Well, I mean, it would...
And there's only so many times you can see Daryl ride a motorcycle.
There is. I mean, but they can't kill off Rick because it's too insane because he's kind of just this core character in the universe. So it's kind of weird if they do that. I don't think they will.
I mean, they've been kind of... There's been a few episodes where he wasn't even in it.
No, yeah, the shows definitely can get away from it. Other than like the books won't. The books are gonna follow Rick majority of the time. The show does take that chance where they develop other characters, and we saw that this season.
But I mean, like I think a lot of the other characters are still pretty weak, except for Carol. But she's starting to get stronger now. But I mean, like a lot of the other characters just aren't as interesting.
They're really not. And even like Michonne, like she was pretty interesting, but this season she's
Oh my gosh, I hated that. I hated all that Michonne backstory stuff.
She's been questioning herself too, and like she wants Alexandria. She wants to return to just normal.
I mean, that's like, okay, I kind of agree with you about the soap opera thing on that part. Because, like, they go way too in-depth about people's backstories. Like, that drives me crazy. I really don't care about their feels. Like, I want to just see them, like, fight or do something that moves the story along.
That's true. But the show's insanely successful. We can't argue that.
That's true. I mean, I love The Walking Dead. So, I'm not bashing the show at all. But I think that in the past, they've had season finales or mid-season finales or whatever, and they've been kind of weak. Yeah. So I'm ready to see a strong one.
And that goes back to where I'm not really a big fan of the show because a lot of times it just seems like nothing's happened. They'll build up for a mid-season finale, and we won't really get anything.
Well, I mean, but to be fair, they switched writers like 90 times.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, and that'll hurt the show, but I mean, it's still running though. It's still 5 seasons.
Yeah, but I mean, like, realistically, how much longer do you think the show has?
This show, I mean, if in theory you just think as long as the book's being produced, then that's already source material on its own.
Yeah, I guess so.
And you know, maybe if they get a solid writer who can bring his own thoughts to it. I mean, I feel like the show probably has 3 more seasons.
3? I mean, they're about to be on season 6, and that's usually where a lot of shows die off.
Yeah.
But I feel like, yeah, maybe I feel like they can get to at least 10. They can match Smallville.
10 would
get to 10 seasons.
Would be impressive.
But anyway, I mean, like, so one thing about the show that I always was curious about is, like, sometimes they go out on these raids, and then a lot of the characters do really dumb things. Like Bob, when they went on in the raid in the store, and he was just kind of looking around, like, I don't know if he was looking for dental floss or something, and then he got bit by one of the walkers. And I'm like, if I was in that situation, would I be that stupid and, like, in my own life doing something stupid like that? So I'm curious, do you think you could survive in a real-life zombie apocalypse?
Well, I mean, we'll get to that. But just the show, they have to do that. They because zombies, they're not too terrifying of creatures. The only way you're going to fear a zombie is either just by sheer numbers of the amount of them or just one sneaking up on you. That's the only way a zombie can get you because they can't run. They just shamble. So
well, yeah, but I mean, like, the ones that I think the special effects team and like Greg Nicotero and them have done a really good job making them look scary.
No, they're definitely scary, and you know the whole effect, you know, just one bite will turn you,
and that's it.
That's it.
It's a wrap. Well, but I mean, like that's still like confusing because when they meet the guy in the whatever it's called, the CDLC or whatever in season 1, and he's like, "Oh, we're already infected." So why do they get sick from the bite? Like,
well, they don't. The bite just kills you.
Yeah, but why? Like, well, if you're already infected, I don't understand why.
I mean, the bite just brings on an infection. The bite. I guess there's no way to clean the bite. You're gonna get an infection.
That makes sense. Okay, yeah, I can see that. Then.
But yeah, they're already infected. So if you just die, you're gonna become a zombie no matter what. Which is a great revelation in the comic book because Rick actually screams the title of the book, "We Are the Walking Dead," and they haven't done that in the show.
No, he did.
He did do it. He did scream it.
Yeah, it was. I don't know if he screamed it,
and like he didn't say it verbatim. Did he?
He said, "We are the Walking Dead."
Oh, okay, that's right. He did,
yeah.
But it wasn't in reference. It wasn't in the same way that he said it in the book.
Oh,
in the book, it was literally in response to, "Hey, we're already infected. We are infected.
Oh.
If we die anyways, we're gonna become zombies. We are the Walking Dead." In the show, it was more so because, like, oh, what do we got? We got nothing left. We might as well be the Walking Dead. But which is fine.
Clint Eastwood, Rick Grimes' voice.
It's totally fine to do something different, you know, than the book, but. Anyways, could I survive a zombie apocalypse? Absolutely, but I'd have to group up with somebody like Rick.
Well, not which Rick, because we have season 1.
Okay, this Rick right now.
Why this Rick?
Because I need a guy who can't see the rainbows and butterflies in this scenario because society is gone. Society's never coming back. You need to adapt to the way things are now.
See, you guys can't see him, but he's making this face. And, like, he's saying these things, but really what he's thinking is, like, I need a Rick who's not afraid to eat somebody's baby if we have to.
If it comes to it, I don't want to starve. And we're going to talk about a world where, well, even if, like, a third of the population's killed off immediately, there will be no more infrastructure. There'll be no more beautiful semi-trucks delivering food. No one growing food. No one making food. There's no food.
Well, I mean,
we're all eating ramen and canned foods.
What if there's like a civilization like Woodbury or like Alexandria and people are trying to rebuild?
Cool.
You're not going to ever be able to do that if everybody's just crazy and like all savage and primal all the time, right?
You're right, but you got to look after minds.
I mean, I guess, but then the world's never going to be rebuilt.
No, it's not. So there's no reason to try to rebuild it like in a Woodbury or Alexandria.
And for that reason, I think I would not survive in the zombie apocalypse.
Yeah, because, I mean, but even then, like, if maybe you're not willing to do what you need to do to survive, but do you think you could kill a zombie?
A zombie, yes. A person,
sure.
Probably not.
Probably not a person.
No, I feel like that's next level. Like
that
especially
is next level, but
if it's like a woman or a child, then it's like, oh man. Not saying that like women are like unequal or anything like that. They equally deserve to get murdered as much as men in the zombie apocalypse. But I'm just saying, like, you know, that person has a family and friends and a group, and
they did,
or they did.
Died.
I mean, they lost just as much as you. You can't just be like murdering people because you feel like it.
No,
like,
you can't. But
Judge Jury execution or Judge Dredd style.
If you haven't ate in 3 days, and you know they have all that tasty ramen stored up, or just even a bottle of water, and you want it, you gotta take it to the next level.
See, I mean, like, I guess, I would rob them, but I wouldn't go like Terminus and like start eating people or anything like that.
Yeah, the cannibalism is just for desperate situations, of course.
So you would do it? Just
absolutely.
Would you like at least season them first, or would you just eat them raw?
I mean, I'd cook them. I don't know if I'd season them. I don't know how much spices I'm gonna have around.
I mean, you throw some dirt and some like dung beetles on there.
Natural things.
Yeah, sprinkle some leaves.
No, I definitely cook them though. Roast.
But how do you know when it's done? Like, have you ever cooked human meat before?
I never have, but I'd treat it like, cooking a steak. Just want to burn the outsides and keep it pink and bloody in the middle.
Oh, yeah.
I'd assume.
That's so gross.
We're like, we're a lot like pigs physiologically, so I guess just, I don't know. But I'd have to eat a person if it came down to it.
I mean, I guess so. The thing about the zombie apocalypse that I think would be hard is, so, you have the poultries, you have the people that are going to be robbing and stealing, you have whatever, right? The zombies and all that. But the day-to-day survival, right? Like, it's so much different than what anybody nowadays is used to. Because we're used to, like, having cars, running water, electricity, all these things. And most people probably don't even know how to start a fire. So learning all those skills on the fly like that, I think would be really hard.
It would be extremely hard. But, I would, after 2 days of waking up every morning and not being able to brush my teeth and having to go a whole day without brushing my teeth, I'd probably shoot myself.
I mean, like,
and that's just over brushing teeth. and people would be like, well, I'm sure you can find a way around that. Toothpaste isn't going to disappear. It doesn't go bad, but eventually, not having showers would drive me nuts.
I mean, like, gingivitis is a real thing.
It's a real thing. Your teeth would be falling out. But, But those are just, like, the little things we take for granted. But, like, they're big things, like sickness.
Oh, yeah. If you get sick, it's a wrap.
It might as well. You cut yourself too deep and you don't know how to treat the wound and bandage and take care of it. You're going to get an infection and die.
Have you ever got, like, a cut or something, like opening a door or something like that? If that happens in the zombie apocalypse, you're dead. Like, that's it.
But we can take it. I mean, just like a seasonal flu. You're not going to get medicine for that. And you're probably not going to get the things you need.
Nope.
At all. You probably won't even to, rest and try to heal that way. You're going to be running from things. So you might as well just die. And I've always thought, like, I always feel bad for, like, people, like, in wheelchairs and stuff during that. I mean...
Oh, I mean...
Like, what's going to happen?
Would you try to help those people?
No, well, I mean, for the record, I probably wouldn't help too many people, so I'm not just discriminating against the physically handicapped.
Well, I mean,
I think the most I would maybe help a child. Maybe. I'd be more inclined to help a child than anyone else, but it still doesn't mean I'm going to help that child in this situation.
Man, cold-blooded.
I want to die.
I don't think I would help anybody because I feel like a lot of people would have
cold-blooded.
ulterior motives.
Yeah.
And, like, I would help them, and then when I turn my back, they, like, stab me or something.
Yeah.
So
I mean, like, that's going to be the best case scenario for a guy in a wheelchair to stab you is to... You've got to get close to him.
Well, yeah.
Because he's not going to get close to you.
Well, yeah.
So
even better he has a gun, and it's a wrap.
He'll
So.
honeypot you in and...
But, I mean, what if there's a guy like Eugene, right? And he's like, there's a cure to this, and we can fix this. Would you still be all, like, super survival instinct guards up, or would you be willing to try to find a cure?
See, that's a good question because with that scenario, the proposal of a cure would mean that you're saying, hey, we can go back to normal. But I don't think there's going back to normal after that.
Yeah, because it's like, oh, hey, Jimmy from up the street, how's it going? I know I murdered your wife, but now let's go back to being friends.
I killed your brother. He was a zombie. He tried to bite me, and I smashed his head in, little Timmy. I can't believe you made it, actually. But I don't think there's going back to normal.
No.
The only prospect a cure says is that, at least I don't have to run from zombies anymore. That's the only advantage of a cure I can see.
I guess so, but I mean, like, if you got to the point where they weren't really a threat to you, and mostly other living people were, then I think it really wouldn't matter. So
yeah, that's true. I mean, but basically, I'm pretty much becoming a road warrior. I'm becoming Mad Max, except I'm not helping people.
So you're like the opposite of Mad Max?
No, I'm like Mad Max. I'm still like just driving around, living lonely. Stealing fuel and stuff, and if I see a proposition, like after I saved the people to get my fuel, and they were like, oh, why don't you help us, and Mad Max walks away, I wouldn't have turned back like he did. That's my only difference. I would have got what I needed and left.
So messed up.
I mean, we all can't be great visions of justice.
Yeah, I guess everybody's not wearing a S on their chest or a cape.
Hard to be a superhero in these worlds, but
I mean, like, at least I'll be like, remember that one guy who died helping us that one time? He sure was a nice guy. Then we killed that next family we came across.
Yeah, some people would say he was a good guy, almost Batman-like. Well,
yeah, but I mean, speaking of Batman, I am kind of upset that Arkham Knight got pushed back again. Chad's not super into the Arkham games.
No, I'm completely into the Arkham games. Arkham Asylum is just a fantastic game. And City's almost as good as Asylum, but it's still a solid game.
See, a lot of people say that, but have you gone back to play Asylum since the first
I haven't.
came out?
It still holds up.
No, it's still good, but it's not as good as... Like, City is so much better.
I guess, but I'm comparing it to a game from the same generation on, like, the same consoles. Like, there's not a huge... You're not going to find too much of a visual distinction.
I mean, like, gameplay-wise.
Gameplay-wise?
I mean, I just think the controls are a lot more refined in City.
You can say that, and people can correct me, but I feel like they don't really change anything.
I mean, I guess...
Except, even then, they already had gadgets in Asylum.
Yeah, but, like, you couldn't really...
couldn't be Robin.
Well, yeah, you couldn't be Robin. That was cool. But you couldn't really, like, throw a Batarang mid-combo in Asylum like you could in City. But anyway.
Well, City's a good game anyways, but
it's pretty
I
baller.
like them. But back to...
Arkham Knight getting pushed back again. This is the third time? Second or third time. I can't remember which.
That's one of those. You kind of just quit counting after a while.
It's one too many. Like, a lot of games that get pushed back more than once, right, aren't good. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, it's okay because Arkham City was amazing and I'm willing to wait for a good game, which is fine, right? That would be awesome in a perfect world where that's the case. But I feel like what's going to happen is we're going to wait even longer for this game. We're going to have even higher expectations. It's going to come out. It's not going to deliver.
Which is always the worst.
The only thing they've said about this game really is there's a villain called the Arkham Knight which they just made up, which really probably is just like a reskin of a character that already exists.
Good chance.
And they've been hyping up the Batmobile.
That Batmobile, like crazy. Now, I love the Batmobile. People love the Batmobile. It's one of the most iconic cars in history.
It is. Ever. Like, probably even more than, like, some of the vehicles from James Bond. But, before I say this disclosure, I'm probably one of the hugest Batman fans in the whole wide world. But I am so over the Batmobile. Like, I've played Gotham City Racers. I've played all these kind of games where you can drive the Batmobile and that's cool. But, like, having the Batmobile does not make me Batman. And, I'm pretty sure there aren't going to be just guys running in the street I can just run over because Batman doesn't kill people, right?
No.
So,
well, unless he has to.
I mean, I guess he chooses not to save them or whatever that stuff from Batman Begins was. But, I mean, like, they hype up the Batmobile so much. They're like, oh, it has cannons and you can do street chases and all this kind of stuff. But, like, besides Grand Theft Auto, all these kind of games that are, like, action-based that try to incorporate vehicle combat into it are so bad. They're just so bad.
We've had this conversation that we can't think of any game that's had a fantastic action controls and fantastic driving controls in the same game. You can have good of both.
Yeah.
You can have fantastic one, good the other, but never one that's been fantastic at both, hands down.
I don't know. I feel like GTA 5 is pretty good at both.
GTA 5 is close.
Oh, fair. I feel like there's some things that could be tweaked.
But even then, we can argue about the controls in GTA 5 and the action and shooting points. I mean, some people don't like third person.
That's true.
So that's a real thing.
And this game's all third person.
Well, yeah. GTA and Batman are both.
Yeah.
But they have said that the Batmobile transitioning from and into the Batmobile, they made it, or at least claimed it's going to be fluid and very transitional.
If I press a command key and then it gets me to a cutscene, that's not fluid. Like if the Batmobile's coming up and I can press X and jump in the air and I have to like line it up and land in the Batmobile, that's fluid.
Well,
to me,
no, that's not fluid because you have to you're going out of your way to try to line up with it. You shouldn't have to stop and be like, okay, yeah, I get it.
I mean, but like the way that they said it was. I mean, like, I don't know. It's just.
I get you. You want it seamless.
Yeah.
You don't want the cutscene.
Yeah, I do not want the cutscene.
But I mean, like, they're working on.
I guess what they're saying is like the cutscene there won't be a loading screen. You can just you get right in the car and you just take off, which is cool. And in theory, that would be awesome. Probably won't work that way. I hope it does. I know I'm sounding like I'm being a pessimist, but I'm just saying. And like this whole thing where you can you can play as the Red Hood. I think that's gonna be lame as shit. I'm not gonna lie, because when they had, I know it was a different studio, but when they made Arkham Origins, you can play as Deathstroke. Deathstroke's an assassin. He kills people. Like, that's his thing. He kills people, right? You couldn't use his swords.
Well, not you when you're Deathstroke. Yeah,
you couldn't use his guns. You couldn't use his swords. You were just Batman with a Deathstroke costume on. So when I play as Red Hood, I want to be the Red Hood. I want to kill people. I want to use his guns. I want to shoot them in the face. I want to have like all these kind of brutal fatalities and things. The game got an M rating. So I'm like, okay, since it's M now,
give me a mature
go
rating.
ahead and let me shoot people as Red Hood. Like, is that too much to ask?
That'd be intense.
Just don't reskin Batman. And like, this game is just, it's driving me crazy because everybody's like, oh, this is it. This is their last game. So this is possibly the last Batman game we're gonna see in at least 10 years. So I really want to.
Whatever happened? Weren't they gonna? Wasn't Rocksteady or someone working on a vintage Batman game?
That was actually the original idea for this game. And
really?
They changed it, yeah.
Oh, that's sad.
Because they were gonna try to tie it in with that whole Justice League thing that they're trying to do. But then like DC switched some stuff around and that just became a giant clusterfuck. So they decided to just do their own thing, which I think is better. I mean, because every time they try to incorporate movies and games, it's just not good.
It's
like that Star Trek game. Did you ever play that one?
From last gen.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. And it is. I mean, it's not good. That's for sure. Is it the worst movie game I've ever played? No.
Absolutely not.
Is it? It's not good though,
I mean,
and I wouldn't
fun.
recommend.
If you're like a parent and you have kids and they like Star Trek, it's something fun y'all can play together.
I know, but it's so repetitive and so dull. I mean, there's few moments that make it okay, but overall, it's just people paid $60 for it. I'm sure at least like 100 people paid full price for it, and I feel so sad for them.
That game was definitely like worth maybe $5 or something like that. Like just something like a little thing you could just buy off of PSN or Xbox Live and play. for a while.
I GameFly'd it, so that was it. And if anybody working for GameFly hears this, we're looking for sponsors.
just
I have been using your service for several years now, and it would, just hook me up.
Please and thank you. But I mean, like, I'm kind of a Trekkie, right? I love Star Wars and Star Trek, which is like a rare breed. And I gotta say that, like, the game, I mean, I guess it fit well with the movies, like with the newer ones or whatever. But like, it just.
But that's
I didn't feel like I was a part of that Star Trek universe.
True. But for the record, though, you're not a huge fan of the movies.
No, I'm not.
You're not.
Honestly.
You don't like J.J. Abrams movies too much.
Here's the thing, like, me and J.J. Abrams, we got a love-hate relationship going on, right? Because I mean, like, I liked Lost until the end of season 1. And
That's
then
fair,
I was just like, WTF.
He
and
left,
then
though.
He did, to make Star Trek. And so I was like, oh, Star Trek, cool. They're redoing it or whatever. Chris Pine, right on.
And you're like a vintage Star Trek fan, and you're a huge fan of The Next Generation.
I've watched all the shows and all the movies, classics. I love them, right? And so I was like, this is going to be great. Like, he said he's an actual fan of the stuff. So movie comes out.
A lot of directors do say that.
Yeah, they always say that.
I mean, even actors that get thrown onto any project, they're like, oh, absolutely. I mean, I'm not pointing out anybody specific, but you hear any interviewed from anybody from a superhero movie, they're like, oh, of course. I read the comics when I was a little girl or kid.
Like M. Night Shyamalan when he was like, oh, I watched the show.
Everybody, they just, it's just PR. They're not going to be like, well, actually, I've never liked superheroes. Superman's the lamest character. I've never read a book. I think comics are for nerds, but I need to cash this check in and be Superman. No one's gonna say that. I just work here, bro. Exactly. No one's gonna say that.
Okay, good point. But I mean, like, the whole first movie was just all lens flares, and I mean, like,
quite a bit.
Yeah, it's like, cool, bro. You know how to use a camera, and you know some effects. That's awesome, right? All this CG looks really cool, but is there gonna be some story in here somewhere? I mean, like, it just felt really flat for me.
Yeah, and you kind of, don't you kind of feel like it doesn't honor the original in any way? It doesn't.
Oh, but I'm getting to that. Let me tell you about In the Darkness.
Good.
See, I love it.
Well, before you go there, like, I want to talk about the first movie because I actually enjoy it.
You do?
I do. I'm a huge fan of the new Star Trek movies, and I like some of the older ones, but I like these movies.
Why? Like, what about these movies that do you like?
I just think Chris Pine is one of the most excellent casting choices.
He is an attractive man
I've ever seen to play Captain Kirk. I mean, I could be biased. I just want to watch more things with Chris Pine.
Because you're blushing right now.
I'm blushing a little bit. The opening sequence when Thor gets to command that ship finally.
That was before he was Thor, though. So I was like, who's this guy?
And it's just, it's a powerful scene.
It was. It was, like, really sad. And then they, like, break all that tension with that really weird scene of him, like, driving.
As a little kid to the Beastie Boys.
Yeah. I mean, like, it was, don't get me wrong. The movie fit well with the times. It made Star Trek modern again.
That's true. That's probably why I liked it.
But I feel like with something like Star Trek, it's like if they decided to reboot Star Wars, right? You have to pay homage to those movies that came before. And I guess they kind of are with the new
They kind of do a little bit. But yeah, I know what you mean. Because the original show, they're very narrative driven. Yeah. They understand that telling a story is more important than visual effects. It's very clear. You can watch an hour long of the first season of Star Wars, and there's going to be a lot of talking. Just be ready for like 40 minutes of talking.
But that exposition makes it's
good writing, and that's why. Yeah, and it's very nice. But you're absolutely right. There's not as much story. It's a lot more spectacle. It's a lot more Hollywood.
I felt like it was very just contained. Also, like in the older renditions of it, they go all over the place, and like. You get to see more of the galaxy. You get to see, like, the Borg. You get to see them go to all these other planets. But, I mean, like, you really just focus on one planet, really, in the new Star Trek movie, which was kind of like, I like Spock. I love the actor that played Siler on Heroes, that plays Spock. He's awesome, right? I don't know his name, but he's cool. But, I mean, I just don't want to see that. Like, I want to see them explore the universe. I want to see them go on these awesome adventures. I want to see them grow as a team through all these missions. And I mean, like,
and that's right back to the original, because that's exactly what it is. It's literally space exploration.
It is.
The prime directive.
The final frontier.
Yeah, exactly. There's no, but I mean, it's a movie. It's not a television show. It's a little different. But
True.
You're right. But I'll take the chains off. Digging Into Darkness now.
Oh, let me tell you about Into Darkness. So first of all, when that trailer first dropped for Into Darkness, I was like, this is definitely the Wrath of Khan, right? Cool. They're doing that again, right? I liked Benedict, or was it Michael Fassbender? Benedict Cumberbatch.
No, it was Benedict Cumberbatch.
Okay, it was one of them. I couldn't remember.
No, a lot of people get those confused.
Yeah, they look alike. But anyway, no, not really. But anyway, so it came out. I was like, this is totally Wrath of Khan. Super excited. It's going to be really cool, right? It was one of the worst movies I've ever seen. And people out there, some people are probably like snapping their laptops right now like, this guy's an idiot.
Maybe. And we might have to devote another episode to where you can totally tear apart the entire movie, but for time constraints and just for listeners, if you want to hear Carmen fully deconstruct Into Darkness, then let us know and we can arrange that. But for now, I'm gonna try to moderate it and get
this is good.
Specific examples of why you hate it. The ending?
The ending, I was actually okay with.
You're okay with the ending?
I was okay with that because I felt like, what aspect of the ending? The whole, like, Kirk coming back to life thing?
Yeah, totally no one dying.
Oh, and, no, okay.
Switching places with Spock and Kirk switching places.
I was okay with them switching places because that was a nice little plot twist. It wasn't as predictable. But with him coming back to life, I thought that was just stupid. Like, in the show, or the original or whatever, Spock did eventually come back. Yeah. But that was, like, later on.
Right, it was later on. But in that, he died.
Yeah, he was dead.
Yes, and it was a very real thing. Like, it wasn't like in this movie where it's like, oh no, he's cool. You literally thought Spock died.
Yeah, no, he died for a while.
Rest in peace to the greatest Leonard Nimoy, real fast, since it's semi-topical right now. But
yeah, no.
I feel like if I'm going to publicly speak about Mr. Spock,
you got to pay respect.
Yeah, we need to pay a little respect and remember him. But
moment of silence. All right. Well, I mean, like, it's got to be quick because it's a podcast. But anyway, I mean, like, if they were going to kill him off, the movie would have had more emotional effect if he would have died.
They're huge.
They could have brought him back in the third one.
You're absolutely right.
And I mean, Spock could have been the captain for a while, went on some adventures, right? Mm-hmm. And that could have set a tone for like an even darker third film, right? Or maybe even like a new direction for the series. Where Spock's the captain. That would have been something totally different, right? But they decided to just. You think they were afraid to kill off characters?
They probably were.
And I feel like when they go back on that, when they're like, "Oh, psych, just kidding, guys. We just wanted to like play with your emotions some. Thanks for giving us your money." You know, like I feel like that's not fair to the audience.
It's not, but more specifically, it's not fair to fans like you. I mean, for the mainstream fans that these huge budget films are produced for. I mean, they do have to take in consideration, like, oh, well, we can't kill off Chris Pine because will Joe Smo come to it?
Yeah, I mean, like, you know, like some movies like that. Like, if you put Star Trek in the title, the hardcore fans are gonna go see it. It doesn't matter who's playing the roles. It doesn't matter who's directing. It doesn't matter when it comes out. They're gonna go see it. And so they were trying to appeal to the mass market, but you can't alienate those hardcore fans.
They don't necessarily alienate them, but when you realize your market it's a very small percentage, you only kind of throw Easter eggs towards them. You never would create a movie. Well, not necessarily true, but someone in Hollywood would not produce something with millions of dollars for a very niche group of people.
That's true. I mean, because money talks.
It would have to come from a very indie director.
That's true. I mean, I guess I'm being a little unrealistic from that perspective. But it's just disappointing, you know?
It is disappointing.
It was very disappointing.
I mean, certainly lots of movies have done it well. Batman trilogy, Nolan's trilogy. That's appealed to hardcore fans and the general masses in a very way. Now, it helps that Batman is a very popular character.
True.
And, I mean, Batman's been a part of pop culture since the 60s. So it's not too insane. It's like trying to make a good Superman movie, which is funny because they really haven't ever.
Don't even. That's another time.
And that's another time. But a very huge popular character. But Star Trek's very huge popular show from the 60s.
It is. And it should have stayed that way. But J. Abrams is on to ruin Star Wars now, and
and I will continue to spend money to go see those movies in theater.
I'll go see it too. I'm not gonna lie. There's gonna be lens flares everywhere.
There are gonna be, but I'm sure we've talked people's heads off about Star Trek. So we can do something fun now. That very serious question that we would actually love some feedback in. So if you're listening to this and you want to tell us how awful we are and that we're sucky people, sure, go for that. Or if you want to answer this question and let us know, that would be even better. But we've tried to figure out, would it be better to be a werewolf or a vampire? And me and Carmen both have very different answers.
Surprisingly.
So, Carmen, werewolf or vampire?
I am going to have to say the obvious and correct answer of a vampire, because one, they're immortal, and two, you have like pretty much supernatural powers.
You do.
Who doesn't want to be a Prince of Darkness, man?
You're right. There some huge pros to this.
True.
You can manipulate and seduce people.
Yes.
And their wills. Nothing wrong with that.
And I mean, like, I'm undead, right? So if there were zombies, they can't do anything to me, right?
Yeah.
We might even high five. I might be like, yeah, bro, like,
yeah,
world domination.
and I'm all in the school of thought that you have superhuman strength. So if a zombie even got close to you, you just flick your wrist and knock its head off.
I pimp slap him to the moon,
yeah,
bro.
I'm totally fine with that. They are superhuman. They're abnormal. They're supernatural. They should be strong. But
here it is. Here comes the BS.
Here are the huge cons to being a vampire.
There really is just one.
No, there are three. There are actually more than three, but I'm only going to touch on three. First one, you totally lose the daytime. There's no going out in the sun ever. So you're going to have to be like Twilight vampires and move to the northwest. Or be like 30 Days of Night vampires and move to places where you get longer nights.
All right.
But they do get longer days also.
All right. I'll accept that. I'll rebuttal when you're done.
The sun kills you. Period.
Yeah,
Here
okay.
be it.
Okay. I mean, according to Dracula lore, yeah.
I mean, we can throw Blade in there too. UV kills you. Period.
That's fair.
And if it's not going to make you incinerate, which it should because that's the coolest way, it makes you incredibly weak.
Okay.
Also,
so then I'm a human.
Okay. Also, you can never eat or drink any food again.
Oh, cry me a river.
Period.
I don't need
You have to have blood to survive. Now, I guess we can get into specifics. Maybe not drinking blood like that movie Daybreakers. If they didn't drink blood, they just got more and more primal vampire. They became more animal-like. Which, that was a cool twist on it. But let's assume you need blood to survive. Okay. It's not going to be hard to get blood. Yeah. Obviously, but you need it to survive, or you will die.
That is true.
And that's the only thing you can eat.
Is that it?
Period. No. Number 3, you are immortal.
How is that a bad thing?
That is the worst thing ever.
Okay, like
one of my most favorite thing while studying Greek mythology and just mythology in general was that the gods were actually envious of us because of our mortality. Because when you're mortal, things are more enjoyable. Period. When you're immortal, nothing will ever be as good, be as sad. Just there's no feelings anymore. You could eat the most delicious sandwich ever. And if you're immortal, you're not going to think anything of it because you're like, I'll just eat another sandwich again or something. Like, I'm going to have tons of sandwiches later in my life. And that's the most stupidest thing, but
I guess
you're immortal.
That's fair.
Nothing
that's
is
fair.
as good as it can be. Everything will always be meh.
I mean, okay, that's fair. Can I
Almost.
Okay.
Immortal, you're going to live forever.
Forever.
By yourself. Not only that, you're going to spend years, decades, centuries watching people you know that you might even love and care about just die right before you. And pretty soon, after this has gone on long enough, you're going to have no real perception of time. Years are going to feel like seconds.
And how's that a bad thing? Because I'm immortal.
You're spending all this alone. Zombie apocalypse will come. Everybody in the world dies. You're immortal. You're stuck in this barren wasteland by yourself for eternity.
Well, it's not true.
Even better, yeah. If everybody dies for some reason, you're by yourself.
Well, I want to die too.
If the Earth explodes, you are immortal.
Immortal doesn't mean invulnerable.
And you're just like floating around in space for all eternity. Period. That sounds awful. And you would live, hypothetically, you would live long enough to see that happen. Now, I guess like if the sun exploded and blew up the Earth, I say that kills you because of all the light and UV rays, but whatever. And like another question, I'm not a scientist or anything, but if you're in space as a vampire, will the sun kill you? Do we need atmosphere for any of this? Or like it's that direct exposure to UV lights immediately kill you?
I thought it was just the exposure to the sun, so I guess you would probably die.
I would assume. So I guess you don't have to float through space by yourself.
I mean, like, have you ever seen World's Strongest or any of the Dragon Ball Z movies? There's this character Garlic Jr. He becomes immortal, but then they trap him in this like, pretty much in space, like in this little phantom zone thing forever. That. Yeah, like it was kind of sad. It reminded me what you just said. It was kind of funny.
Immortal.
But I mean, like, okay, so first
I'll let you rebuke.
First thing, right? Drinking blood. I don't know if that was the first thing you said, but that's the first thing I remember.
Okay, go with drinking blood.
All right, so there is like almost everything on the planet Earth has blood in it.
Yeah.
So I don't have to eat
Go
humans.
ahead and tell me about it, Edward Cullen, how you're just going to eat deer.
I mean, I could eat deer. I could eat bugs.
Sure.
I could eat, like, wolves.
I don't think you can eat bugs.
I could eat people.
I'm going to throw that one out there.
I mean, like,
but you could eat someone's
mosquitoes
pet.
have blood in them, right?
A very, very small amount.
Whatever.
Good way to get AIDS.
I'm a vampire. I can't get AIDS, right?
I guess you can get... Well, no. We'll go ahead and say you can't get AIDS. I mean, your heart's not beating... Like, none of your organs are working.
No.
So let's just say you can't get AIDS.
Yeah, right? So, blood thing, not a problem. Totally not a problem.
You'd be cool with never having a slice of pizza again.
And you know what? You are right. You would have to sacrifice all those things, all those great sensations and feelings. Like, things like I don't know, like music or sex or any of that stuff. That would never feel as good.
You're right.
But I mean, small price to pay.
Small price to pay
for like superpowers and immortality, right? Second point, the fact about the sun, right? So since I'm immortal, that means I have 30,000 days and 30,000 nights, right? Way longer than that.
Yeah, I just said 8 years.
So I have plenty of time to figure out a way to go out safely in the daytime without being destroyed by the sun.
That's true. For all we know, you can just wear a trench coat and sunglasses and be okay.
And I can do experiments on myself, find out what it is about my DNA that makes me vulnerable to the sun, and I can cure myself of that. So then I'm even more immortal because the sun can't kill me.
That's one of the upsides of immortality is that one of the most precious resources, time, is completely irrelevant now. So you could accomplish anything.
It is. What was one of the other things you said? So... everybody dying, right?
Yeah.
So first of all, I can turn people into vampires.
Okay,
right?
I'll go ahead and give you that. I'll say you can turn people.
Because this is assuming I'm the only one. I'm Dracula.
Yeah, we're assuming in a situation where you are Dracula and you can turn other people.
Okay, that's fair. So what I would do is...
Yeah, we might as well give you, like, the best.
I would only turn people that I really care about, right? And I would not tell them our weaknesses besides the sun thing because I don't want them to accidentally explode.
Okay.
So, I mean, like, if they start tripping one day, I'll just wait till it's about to be the crack of dawn and I'll be like, all right, good night. And they'll go to sleep and I'll stab them in the heart and I'll blow them up and then I'll just turn somebody else, right? That way I make sure that nobody gets out of line and tries to, like, overthrow me or anything like that.
Yeah, no, but it sounds lonely.
I mean, like, bro, like, other people will be around. Like, I can... fraternize with people just only until they die, and there'll be more people after that.
Yeah, but I mean, it'll like when years feel like seconds.
That's true, but I mean, you know, again, a small price to pay, right? So on top of that, the space thing. So I would figure out a way. I could
well, I mean, like you don't have to go to space.
No, I don't. But like, why not, right?
Okay.
I could figure out a way. I could be like the smart. I could revolutionize everything. I could solve all the world's problems.
That's my idea for tween book now.
What?
I mean, vampires and all that stuff is still popular with tweens. There's no vampires in space yet.
You should do it.
So we'll totally write a book about a school for high schoolers, like high school children, living in space at a school. It'll be a private school too, with like really rich kids. And then, like, maybe it's even on Mars, and everybody's like, ooh, we don't like the Martians. They're so much prettier than everybody else. Oh.
And they all come with the, like, green long hair and stuff. Anyway.
Vampires in space.
Vampires in space. It's the thing. So, vampires are awesome. And
I'm not saying vampires aren't awesome.
No, I know you're not saying, but
choice.
they're the best. They're better than werewolves because they are immortal. Right?
They're immortal up until a point, but, I mean, you can kill vampires, though.
Well, yeah.
As simply as a stake through the heart.
That is not simple. Like, first of all, vampires have heightened senses.
It wouldn't be hard.
It'd be so hard for a human to do that.
If I rip off a vampire's head, cut it off, I mean, how much fun is that? I'll just have your head in a glass jar for all eternity. Would you enjoy that, Mr. Vampire?
Well, no, but I mean, I guess that would just... I should have been faster.
No one says you get regenerative abilities. Yes. And even if you do, once your body starts growing back, I'll cut off that little baby body you got going on.
That's why I have to have minions, so they'll say...
Yeah, you definitely need minions. You have super strength, but I mean, once you get into that coffin...
Well... See, that's why you can never lay in the same place.
Well, I don't know why you wouldn't just lock your coffin.
Well, yeah, but I mean, the people get in there. You can't have a layer.
You don't have a steel coffin. No one can, like, drive anything through. Weld it shut every night and then just punch it open in the morning.
I would go to the deepest depths of the ocean where the pressure's too harsh for humans to survive, and I would sleep down there.
That's where you'd sleep every day?
Because, I mean, it wouldn't hurt me.
That wouldn't be bad. So. But, I mean, like, I don't know. I mean, do vampires get tired? I don't know. Not enough lore on vampires.
But anyway, what would you choose?
I'd choose werewolf because that's clearly the best. And I'm only going to choose werewolf mostly under a scenario that I can control my transformation. If it's involuntary, it's not too bad, but it would definitely be a con. But I'd still take it. But if I can control it, even better. Heightened senses. I'm incredibly strong.
Yes, tell the people why you're wrong.
Even if, and I'm sure most people would disagree, but even if I had a normal lifespan, because I'm sure most people agree that a werewolf would tend to live longer.
Just like a little longer, maybe not like hundreds of years longer, but yeah.
Even then, I really only have one weakness, and that is silver bullets. How many silver bullets do you have? Just for the record.
I don't have any bullets.
You don't. Well, but anybody? How many times can you go into a gun store?
But you know how much silverware I have, and I could turn the silverware into a silver bullet.
You could, but having no experience doing that, good luck.
I mean, I can't. But like, I could go to the blacksmith.
I guess you could stab me with a silver fork, but you better make sure it's a silver fork. If it's not silver, it's not gonna hurt me. Yeah, and even then, I'm fast. I'm incredibly strong. I can rip a vampire apart.
Only when you're a wolf, though, because you turn into a human.
You're right, but but even as a human, I've still got strength above any normal human. Then I go full wolf form. It's over.
That's true.
It's over.
I guess so. Vampires would be weaker than wolves if they're in wolf form, right? So that's why I would have to be smarter than you.
You'd have to. That's the only way. And you'd have to assume maybe the werewolf he wouldn't be as smart, but it's an age-long question. And
I'm immortal.
Like, you are immortal.
That's like the greatest power.
But again, if you're just an immortal head, I mean, you're not gonna have much. But we can talk to it about great lengths. But I'm getting a little tired. The show's running a little long.
But I mean, let us know what you would choose, vampire or werewolf, and let us know if you think that we're right or wrong. And even if you think we suck,
I will check the comment sections, no matter what you say. Jonathan and Carmen won't, so if you have anything negative to say about them, just say it in all vulgarity, and I will repeat it back to them verbatim. So don't worry. And I'll even use snippy and sarcastic voices, so.
And if you have anything negative to say about Chad, just post it all over any social media site and make sure everybody knows.
Which is good, because I'm not really on any social media sites.
Just make sure he's wrong. That way. He's wrong. Vampires are better than werewolves. That's the moral of this episode.
Recap. Go.
Recap. Arkham Knight sucks. Star Trek sucks. The new movies. Vampires are better than werewolves. Walking Dead's awesome, but this episode might suck. The apocalypse will be hard. I'll probably die. That's the recap. Look at that negativity.
Look at that. Well, listeners, some of you we may call friends. all of you may be friends because only our friends might be listening. But we'll be back.
Thank you for this 50-something minutes of your life.
Maybe not same time.
Same bat channel.
But it'll definitely be the same day.
Indeed. CDR for life.